Hello, hello. Sorry if you hear a bunch of paper rumbling. My desk is covered in paper. But that's nothing new. Perhaps it should be something new. But it's not. Sorry, I'm trying to see if everything is good, as always. And I forgot to turn on the BMG. Streaming in the new year is turning out amazing. Is that too loud? Typically this is something you do before stream, but you know how it is. I have my tea and a stack of books, getting ready to review quickly all the books I went over or all the books I read in 2025. Is that BGM too loud? I feel like it's a little bit too loud. Take it down to like here. It's funny because I remember, I think last stream I was talking about getting new headphones, and I think these are decidedly worse headphones because I did get new ones and I think they're worse than my other, but it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit, like right there, and call that good. I don't know if you could hear my stream playing. I was making sure it was okay on another streaming service. Well, on another device is what I meant. Anyway, now that my desk is thoroughly covered and books, notebooks, and things like that, let's get into the reviews. Capture this one. Here we go. Look back and forward. So originally I had forward, like the forward to a book, like look back and a forward. I thought maybe that was a little too bad of a pun and just looked like a spelling mistake. But the idea was there, and I feel like people should know about that. I'm reaching for my tea. I'm gonna drink it. Also, I like flowers. That's why there's flowers there and flowers at the bottom of the screen, because I love flowers. Oh, my tea is so good. I love tea as well. Flowery tea, it's okay. I think a good, like, tea, like the plant tea to taste flowery, I think your best bet is probably a white tea. I'm not super versed in my teas though, but a white tea typically to me tastes more floral. But it's crazy how much of it depends. I mean, a lot of it depends on elevation, cultivation, where it's grown and everything. But it's crazy how much depends on oxidation alone. Like that's just, it can change the flavor so much. It's really cool. I love tea. Let's get to review. Actually, hold on. I'll talk about Look Back real quick. I watched Look Back earlier this year, and I liked it quite a bit. I didn't really know what to think going into it. It wasn't a favorite movie of mine. Like, I didn't come away from it thinking this changed my life and this is the best film ever, but I remember liking it. I feel like I should watch it again. My only intro to, what's his name? Fujimoto? Tatsuki Fujimoto or something like that. The author of Look Back and Chainsaw Man, was years ago, like, I want to say 2019. I don't know if that's right. Somebody convinced me to read Chainsaw Man, and honestly, I wasn't into it. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea. It might have actually been before that, if Chainsaw Man was even coming out then. It was well before the anime was announced. I didn't watch the anime either. I've been thinking about trying to watch it again, but it just, yeah. When I first tried it, it wasn't really my cup of tea. But then I watched Look Back, and it was pretty good. I don't have a lot of notes on it because I don't really remember it, because I think I watched it at the beginning of last year, if that's when it came out. And then I've seen he has some of his short stories, which ironically, like, I read, so I wasn't in a great headspace earlier, not too long ago. I don't think I've talked about it. It's a little bit of a bummer to talk about in the new year, starting the new year, but my dog died earlier. It was like a week before he turned 14, so big part of my life. And I was looking for something to read, and what I wanted to read, I didn't have. I wanted to read Case Files of Jeweler Richard because that's a really easy read, very, very easy read, and usually on like kind of the sweeter side, while still being a bit serious. And I was just kind of like looking around at my books, and I had, what is it? Goodbye Eri, I think. The manga from him. And for whatever reason, that was out on one of my shelves, like set aside with a few other manga that I think I was planning on reading. And I just picked it up and read it all right there. 'Cause, yeah, I wanted to read, but I didn't want to read anything like too heady or anything. And I read it, finished it, and I thought it was pretty good. I liked the style of it. I liked the storytelling ways. And then I was like, man, I want to read more. So I looked up right there on the spot. I saw his short story collections from like, I don't remember. It's ages. That's all I remember. Like 17 to something, and then maybe one other. Like 17 to 22, and then something like 23 to 26. I don't know. But it's just his short stories from those ages. And I was gonna get those. I like had them in my wish list and ready and everything. And then like a few days later, I think I saw that they were being animated, and like not just being animated, but were airing, being actively streamed, I think. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just watch those. And I haven't got around to watching those yet, but I will, because I think he's piqued my interest as an author. I'm still not super interested in Fire Punch or Chainsaw Man. I'm not super big on action, anime or shows. Well, that's not entirely true, but it's kind of true. But as an author, yeah, he's piqued my interest. Sorry, that's my teacup, and I'm like fully extending my arm to put it down because it's on the far side of my desk, because I have probably like 40 books on my desk right now, not including the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notebooks. My desk is an absolute mountain of a mess right now. But yeah, I like Look Back, and I'll probably watch it again soon. Speaking of movies, because I'm not a big movie watcher, but I will be watching more this year, hopefully. Spoilers to the stream. I watched 100 Meters just yesterday, I think. And it was good. Once again, I think things rarely live up to the hype that you see online. Not that I saw a lot of hype. I think I was able to watch it right before I saw a bunch of hype. But I still, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I really liked the animation and like the motion capture, like, what is it, rotoscopic animation. That was really good. And as a former athlete from the days of yore, I think it really helped with the showing of like exhaustion and fatigue in the animation and everything. Like, just gorgeous use of it. I loved the tone of everything and all the characters. It really, really resembled Ping Pong. So if you liked 100 meters, I definitely recommend watching Ping Pong. Ping Pong is like 100 episodes, 12 episodes of 100 meters. Both really good. Once again, not my favorite. I don't know what my favorite is, but it was a good watch. I think my favorite was Kaido. I liked him. He kind of reminded me of that one guy from March Comes in Like a Lion. I completely forget his name. But the guy that, I think he wore a brown suit and had like thinning hair on his head and had stomach issues, but he was like one of the shogi players that like wasn't expected to win, kind of thing. And was like, really, I'm not even in the conversation. Trying to think of my favorite animated movie. I don't know. It wasn't this year. Last year I watched Satoshi Kon's Tokyo Godfathers. That's probably one of my favorite. What a wonderful director. Oh, I did watch Millennium Actress from Satoshi Kon recently. And that is so good. Not as good as Tokyo Godfathers, but still really good. And I think if you liked that movie, there's another movie I watched a year or two ago called like The Labyrinth of Cinema, I think. And it's like a live action version of Millennium Actress. I mean, it's not the exact same, but it has a similar premise of going through the years of film, especially like war in film, because The Labyrinth of Cinema, I think is what it was called, is like a very heavy anti-war, I almost said novel, movie. Very on the nose and very weird. Like, it uses heavy green screen obvious use, and it's these guys traveling back through the history of war in cinema. And it's really good as well, but really long, like twice the length of Millennium Actress. I watched it in multiple sittings because I'm not good at watching TV shows or movies. But it was good. And if you liked Millennium Actress because it was good, I would recommend The Labyrinth of Cinema as well. And earlier this year I watched Inuo, which I had not heard anything about Inuo. I'm not super big on the like, I don't know, just anime side of the internet, really. I feel like I'm like half in it. So I'd only known of its existence, and I watched it, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. And I found this novel called Marrow Tree, M-E-R-R-O Tree, T-R-E-E. I forget the author. I haven't read it yet or purchased it, but it honestly seemed to me like a sci-fi version of Inuo, so I'll probably get that and read it. Although I think it's out of print, so please don't steal it. It would make me sad if it suddenly spiked. And also Mononoke movies. Love Mononoke movies so much. Absolutely love Mononoke movies. I think the third one's coming out this year. I don't know if it's going to be a quartet, tetralogy, whatever you want to say, or just a trilogy, but I know the third movie's coming out. Maybe this year, maybe next year, but I know it is coming out. And I'm very excited to see it. And I hope it, I don't know, like catapults another series or something, or more movies. I don't know. I would love to see more Medicine Sellers and more Ayakashi Yokai, whatever, explored. That would make me happy. I should probably get into my reviews and stop talking about movies. But that's a part of my goals. I'll talk about it later. I do want to watch more movies. Oops. What did I do? Let me see what I did. Okay, we're good. What I read. So first and foremost, this is an attempt at an exhaustive list, but I don't know if that's true. And I guess more importantly, it is out of order. This is not the order in which I read these books. And I wish I would have read a lot more this year, but I did not. So starting off, The Stain by Ricky Ducournau. I didn't know how I was going to feel about her. I really wanted to read it. Her books seem, on paper, magical and almost surreal, but in all honesty, it was not what I was in the mood for in the moment. The Stain. I think I might try more from her and her Element series. I think it's a tetralogy as well. Mononoke might be. But it almost seems eroguro in a way. The erotic grotesque, like in a way. And that just wasn't really what I was in the mood for, but her prose is pretty good, and a lot of thought goes into the novels. They're not big, like, idea novels, but they're intentional, and I admire that. So I feel like I will try more Ricky Ducournau. Like, it wasn't the best experience, but I will try more just when I'm in the mood for it. Letters from a Shipwreck on the Sea of Suns and Moons. This is probably my favorite book I read last year. One of the favorites, but I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm going to be doing a review on it soon, by the end of this month, hopefully. It'll be kind of a unique review, unorthodox review, but yeah, I loved it. It's fantastical. It's not magical. It's not magical realist because it's full of gods. It's full fantasy, but oh, it's so good because it combines like everything I love. It has a interview style, which I think would throw a lot of people, but think like The Savage Detectives from Roberto Bolaño, or the Awasawa Murders by Riku Onda, I think is what they are. I think those are the ones I've mentioned in my review that I'm writing. And also is about literature, but like pre-1900s literature. The main character's a poet, and it's just very my sense of humor. And this is an author that I want to read more of, but I don't. It's hard because they really won me over as an author, but I'm not big on rereading authors. I like to read books, not authors, typically, because I need to be interested in the book, typically not just the author. And sometimes it's because like I want to read this author writing about this, not just read this author. So when I look at the other books, it's like I want to read the author, I want to read the author writing about something else, not these. But there's a few of his that are interesting to me, at least mildly. I think I might try his, I forget what it's called, Barnaby something. It's like a full adventure fantasy that's like 800 pages long, so I was like, why not dive in head first. Actually, this next book, I don't speak French, and I always forget how to say this properly. Montmartre, something like that. I don't remember it, and I'm having a hard time reading it from my computer, and it's in my stack of books by Chia Miaojian, I think, Miaojian. Last year, her Notes of a Crocodile. Hold on, that's close to me. Yeah, Notes of a Crocodile. I don't know if it was like right away. He might be able to watch my last stream and decide. I don't know if it was right away one of my favorites, but it stayed in my mind a bit. Oh my goodness. I forgot to say I was streaming. It's fine. I don't need it. It's okay. Someone can just watch it later. But yeah, her Notes of a Crocodile I really liked, and I liked the style of. I liked the way it switched back and forth, so I was interested in reading this as well, because this book, Last Words of Montmartre, something like that. I don't know. I don't speak French. I just looked it up, but I completely forgot it. Anyway, it was essentially like her suicide note, and that's kind of what the book is too, and it's told in a non-linear fashion. Really up my alley, honestly, but I did not enjoy it as much as Notes of a Crocodile. I enjoyed Notes of a Crocodile much more. But they both have artistic value and merit, and I did enjoy it, just not as much as the other novel. I would only recommend it if you're willing to handle heavy subjects, though. But I think that's like a given, considering its subject matter. Okay, Spring Snow by Yukio Mishima. I don't even know where to start with this. Beautiful prose. Do I have to also give the caveat that he was in fact a fascist? For those of you who don't know, he killed himself in a military coup in Japan, an attempted one, but was laughed at. He wanted to go back to like the Bushido code in feudal Japan. There's a lot of things, but he did study fervently and was quite the like aesthete, I guess, and is known for his beautiful prose, among other things. Honestly, the book was beautiful, very well researched. I read these books and I think, man, I'll never be that smart. And I just think of like how well read these people had to be before the internet. You know, they had to like go to the library and read all these books. And it's kind of something I want to do sometime in the future, just like take a year off from the internet and just read everything out of books in the library. The one thing, so it wasn't like chock full of philosophy, but it did have philosophy and like different people's philosophy on life. I honestly forget the main character's name now. But I did find the ending a little disappointing, and I do have the rest of the tetralogy. The Sea of Fertility, is that what it's called? But the publishers of it messed up quite a bit. It's a little hard to read because the print is thick and gray and a bit blurry sometimes, but only sometimes, like only some of the pages, but it's for all of the books, I think, so it makes it a bit of a hard read, especially for me who has bad vision and gets eye strain and headaches very easily. It's a bit of a hard, like, difficult physically book to read because of these, what I'm pretty sure are printing defects. But I would like to read the rest of it. I know the next book, Runaway Horses, is noted to have quite violent imagery and ideologies of the young rightist, as it's said in the synopsis, which I think reflected a lot of Yukio Mishima's beliefs. He was one to fetishize violence, which is amusing because he has like the exact opposite beliefs of me. Oh, and also speaking of quartets with terrible printing, another one I tried to read this year was the Buru Quartet. I forget the author's name, and they're Indonesian. And I really wanted to read it. It was a very interesting story, but I think 2 out of the 4 books I purchased, well, I didn't actually purchase them. That's a lie. I got them for my birthday last year, I think. But I put them on like a list. It was like the paper was wet. It was worse than Bible paper. Like I could see when the book is just open, like my thumb in the middle, pages against each other, I could fully, well, almost fully, exaggeration, I could fully see the other page, but if I tried, I could read the other page through it. And once again, made for a very physically difficult read for me, because I'm reading like blurred words. It was honestly terrible. I didn't finish the book because of that, although I do want to read it, and I will probably try to push through in the future. I was just like, come on, quality control. And once again, I don't think this was intentional. I think this was a defect. It was by Random House too. I think that's Penguin. But I was just like, come on, I really wanted to read this, and now it's physically hard because the pages are so thin and the ink is leaking through so much. And like, I have actually books on like Bible paper, essentially. The Library of America books, I think is what they're called, like the whole collections of authors, which are on super thin papers, and it's not the same thing. And it was only 2 out of 4 books, I think. I remember at least one, I think it was the 3rd one, I do not have them with me there on my bookshelf, had nice, solid, crisp, like thick white pages that I couldn't see through at all. So that's why I think it was definitely a defect, because it was only half of the books had where I could almost see through the pages. The other one were nice, thick pages, which was really disappointing. But I don't even know if I said what I was thinking about of the ending of Spring Snow. I'm all over the place. I was disappointed. I honestly thought it was going to end in some sort of like Shinju story, I think it's called, like a double suicide or something. And it didn't. It just kind of ended. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know. I thought the ending was a little lackluster. Wanted a little more pop. No, not really. That was inappropriate. But I wanted a little more of an ending, honestly. It like kind of, it all ran through really quick at the end, but not in a good way. Yeah. Next, Coin Locker Babies by Yu Murakami. This one was, this was the first book I read last year. First book I finished, at least. And I'm moving slow with these books. I enjoyed it, but a little bit of a disappointment. I think I expected more based on how people talked about it. When I was looking for kind of books to read, I saw people comparing this to some really great books and saying it was this like height of Japanese modernism in novels, and it was okay. Also, the book right here calls it a cyberpunk novel. It is in no way, shape, or form cyberpunk, and you honestly have to stretch to even say it's sci-fi or speculative. There is a town in the middle of Tokyo, I think, called Toxa Town, and it's like, it's like a, I don't remember, like a gas leak kind of thing there that turns everyone, like the more they stay in it, it turns, like covers their bodies in sores and stuff. But like, you could barely call it speculative, let alone a cyberpunk novel. I mean, I guess it was punkish, but not cyber. It was good. I liked the shifting perspectives. I liked the two brothers. That was the thing. It was honestly a solid book. It was a good book, but it wasn't great. There were some really memorable parts, like one of the main characters shooting who he thought, can I say that? Shot somebody's face off with a shotgun on live TV. That was a memorable scene. Yeah, I really liked it, but it wasn't exactly what I expected. I expected something a little more experimental, a little more, I want to say artistic, but that's not the exact word. It is a little more modernist, I guess. All in all, a good book. I liked it, but didn't live up to the expectations. Like I said, it was good, but not great. Also, crazy intro. Not crazy necessarily good either. I cannot say how it starts on stream. But if you want to know what it's about, it's two kids who get locked in coin lockers as children, like infants get locked in them, and for whatever reason, they're both saved. I forget the reason. One of them one of them threw up, and somebody saw that, and the other one was barked at by a dog, I think. And they went into foster care, and then got adopted together, and then, grew up as brothers. And had a lot to do with like how your childhood affects your future, like childhood trauma affecting your future. Really seemingly well thought out novel. Really good, but I remember thinking, for whatever reason, I thought it was going to be like a great novel, but it was good. I also saw one of his books was made into a movie, directed by, oh goodness, I'm so bad with names, Hide something Anno, the director of Evangelion. And when I read this, I had not seen Evangelion. I have watched Evangelion and the end of Evangelion now. Very good. And it also has themes of childhood trauma shaping who you are as an adult, and those cycles of violence and trauma and things like that. So his movie, the collaboration between the two who so focus on this childhood trauma and stuff, called Love and Pop, the movie. I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to watch it. I might write a review on it. I plan on watching it soon. Next, On Being Blue, a philosophical inquiry by William H. Gass. Oh, excuse me. My first Gass novel. Well, not novel, nonfiction. Really good. I liked it. It just talks about how blue is used in literature. It was a little funny. Sometimes. I say sometimes, it happened like 3 times, but it was very enjoyable to me. I was asked what I was reading. I said a book about the color blue. And it was fun. The next book, There a Petal Silently Falls. Gorgeous book, beautiful prose. Not much more I can say. It's 3 novellas. I don't really remember them, to be honest, but I remember thinking the prose was just like I was just so transported. I was pulled right in and enjoyed every second of it. I do remember in the first story being so irritated because there was this character that I wanted to write, because I'd seen it written before, but it wasn't not up to my standards, but not how I wanted to write it the way I perceived this kind of character. And then they did the same thing, and that's not an issue. I can deal with that. They did the same thing and said similar things of what I wanted to say, but did it in such a crushing way to me. I read it and I was just like, I wouldn't have thought to say it like this. Like, the same idea was there, but your prose is just so much better. It was like I was a molehill and they were a mountain. Just incredible. Like, I'm not one to be bothered by somebody else writing something similar, but I was like, oh my goodness, it was so much like you've handled this character idea so much better than I ever would have. Oh goodness, I need to speed this up a little bit because I'm also starting to get a headache. Tea time. Untold Night and Day by Bae Sua. Honestly, kind of an unmemorable novel to me. It was okay. I finished it quickly. It was like kind of surrealist. I remember the synopsis on the back was quite misleading. Honestly, I don't have much to say because it's a book that didn't stick in my mind very well. It was just another on the shelf for me. I don't think I had anything good or bad to say. If I remember correctly, they used repetition well. And the Mimosa Confessions is this next one. The picture I pulled is the Japanese copy, but I did not read it in Japanese. My Japanese is not that good yet. Hopefully it will be this year. Maybe. I would like to read a light novel this year, but it'll probably just be manga. Honestly, much better book than I expected. I talked about this in another stream. It was the one with a mouse. A stream with a mouse. Mouse game. Don't remember what the game was. The novel is, yeah, much better than I expected. Still has its light novel quirks and stuff like that, which, you know, your mileage will vary based on your taste. But I liked it, and I'll probably read more of that series this year. Ruth Ozeki's I'm not talking a whole lot about that one because I already have on stream. Ruth Ozeki's The Book of Form and Emptiness. My bookshop simulator's title was based on this. But I honestly, in hindsight, didn't really enjoy this novel. It was good sometimes. It's a book about books. I'm gonna like it. But at the same time, and I saw it coming a mile away, literally from the first page. I remember telling my brother, like, when I was reading this book, before I even finished the first chapter, I was like, I know how this is gonna end, and I don't like it. It was talked about some serious things and some serious issues, but it's very campy. Well, no, I probably shouldn't say that, because it wouldn't go with how Susan Sontag, I think is how you say her last name, Notes on Camp would describe camp, but very, like, upbeat and happy. Very, I don't want to say wish fulfillment fantasy, but just like from the first few pages, I knew this book was not going to have a bad ending, and I enjoyed reading it. I did enjoy the process of reading it, but I like books, not necessarily that are tragedies, although I do like tragedies, but it's not the tragedy that makes me like it. It's the book having the courage or the guts, the gall to bear the weight of a possible bad ending, which this book did not. I knew the entire time that there was not going to be a bad ending, even with the supposed possibility. I know that sounds a little weird and just in theory kind of thing, but that was my main gripe with it. It was a pretty easy read, though. I think you could knock it out relatively quickly. Like, this sounds really mean, but if you're traveling, like on an airplane or something, I don't want to call it an airplane read, but yeah. The Promise by Sylvia Ocampo. This was good. This one actually sticks into my mind a little bit because, oh, she was also friends with Borges, I think, which is mentioned in the Book of Form of Emptiness. But the promise is about this woman who's shipwrecked, I believe. And, oh, 2 novels about shipwrecks. She is like recounting her life, and it is disconnected and all over the place, and I really liked it. It's a quick read, but there are 2 chapters that repeat themselves almost entirely, I think, or just a part repeats itself entirely. And I remember my brother showing me this website that was made by AI, obviously, and reading 2 of the same chapters felt less repetitive than the website that I was made to read, and that's what it made me think about. The website that I was made to read, it was like a middle school essay when you have 250 words down, but it's a 1,000-word essay, so you just keep repeating the same thing. That's what the website was like. It's so bad. Okay, silently and very fast, or silent and very fast. Can't read it on my computer. It's blurry. My bad. I didn't like the book. I know it won awards, and some people liked it. I didn't like it. I don't think I like Catherine Valente. I think that's how you say her name. I don't think I like her sci-fi, unfortunately. But I do like her as an author. I like her Orphan Tales, which I haven't honestly finished yet, although I did make a post about it. Don't kill me. I do like her fantasy. And I like her prose. Her prose is molasses-esque, in my opinion. It's very slow-moving. But yeah, I just didn't like this book. I don't really remember it a whole lot. It's a very quick, like 60 or 80-page book, something like that. But I remember not really liking it. Like it being kind of a chore to read, even at that small amount of pages, small page count. And yeah, I just wasn't a huge fan. Caitlin R. Kiernan, The Drowning Girl. What a good novel. It was basically Ruth Ozecki's The Book of Form and Emptiness, but done right. The main character actually has like, forget what kind, but a form of schizophrenia. And like, we're jumping all over the place and going back and forth through different threads in the story and what she perceives and these, like patterns she follows and all these different things, and everything is kind of obscured, and I really liked it. If you read the Book of Form and Emptiness and liked it but thought it should be heavier, read The Drowning Girl by Caitlin R. Kiernan. Very good. Next, In the Suicide Mountains by John Gardner. Probably the worst book I read this year. It's up there between, honestly, Silently and Very Fast or whatever by Catherine M. Valente. But John Gardner, I feel like, didn't like the book. Just did not think it was good. And on top of that, I read, I think last year it was, Notes on Fiction or whatever from John Gardner. And I feel like the things he talked about not doing in that nonfiction book about writing books, like I feel like he made so many of those mistakes in The Suicide Mountains. It has this fabulistic, like, what do you call that? Oh my god. Why are words slipping from my mind so much? Yeah, but fable, allegorical, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Style of writing, and it's okay. Like, I get what he's doing, but at the same time, it was such a disappointing read to me. And I was gonna read the Sunlight Dialogues by him, but after reading The Suicide, so I read Notes on Fiction or whatever it is, or The Art of Fiction, maybe, I don't know. After I read that, he definitely seemed full of himself, but seemed to know what he was talking about. And I was like, I'll read this, and then I'll probably read Sunlight Dialogues by him. Read this, and I was like, oh goodness, dude, what are you doing? And I'm sorry if anybody likes it, just I did not. Kind of everything about it I didn't like. It was very, yeah, like allegorical. So the message and theme was what was important, but the characters were just, in my opinion, not very well developed, like at all. And it focused way too much on this fable retelling. And I guess that's on me for reading the book that is like that. But I thought he would handle suicide better, I guess. But he did not. It was disappointing. Would not recommend the read, even if you're a fan of fantasy. Maybe if you like a short allegory read, go for it, but I wouldn't have you. I think if you have your hopes set low, it'll be better. You'll probably enjoy it a little bit then. The Impossible Fairy Tale by Han Yu-ju, I think. Han Yu. One of my favorite novels this year. Really good. Like the surrealist vibes. Sparse prose is not usually my cup of tea, but it worked so well here. Kind of like Agatha Christoph's The Notebook trilogy. How that sparse, like straight prose is used, and it works so well. I thought a similar thing with The Impossible Fairy Tale. So good. Inspired several things in me to write. Parts of it still stay with me. Very short novel. Hectic. Confusing. I want to reread it, and I don't want to reread novels very often. It's up there for one of my favorite reads this year. But it's also one of those, like, is it just those pieces that I remember very vividly that I want to reread? It's about, like, a school kid. No, no. It's better if you go in blind. Read it if you can deal with heavy subject matter, though. I loved it, and I want more from this author to be translated. But I can also see it very much not being people's cup of tea because it is surrealist, kind of, and confusing. And like I said, this like sparse prose, because part of it is from a kid's point of view, a very troubled kid, and then gets much more surreal, like surrealist style as it goes on. Loved it. Will probably reread at least parts, and yeah, inspired this one story that I really want to write soon. I don't know if it'll be next month, but I'll talk about that in a second. Ranpo Edogawa's Mystery Storehouse. This is a anthology of mysteries. I have the other one too, but I haven't read it yet. That was in Ranpo's Storehouse or something. Ranpo Edogawa's Storehouse, I believe. These are good. Not great, just good. Some of the stories I thought were much better than the others. Excuse me. I think that's how anthologies go, though. I don't think I've read an anthology that is, like, perfect. Some good, some not so good. About mysteries from whatever time it was in Japan, I forget. But they're not all fair play mysteries, though. They're just kind of like crime novels or short stories. Hell is Dark with... there's also another one, and these are like... Oh, heck, what are those novels called? They're really like pocket-sized ones. In Japanese, it starts with a T. As you can see, my Japanese is not good enough to read in Japanese yet. But that is a goal this year. So it's like a novel like the size of your palm. Well, I guess maybe if you have slightly bigger hands. It's a very small novel. I genuinely carried this book in my pocket all the time to keep reading it. It was a great thing to do, so that's definitely a plus. Hell is Dark with No Flowers. I did a mini review, so I won't talk. I did a mini review on Tumblr. I won't talk about this one much. Same thing I said there. Its prose was okay. The characters were interesting, not fully fleshed out, but it's a series, so I could really see it getting much better. it definitely had some really dark themes, but they weren't just for shock value, but they also weren't explored to a very acceptable depth, in my opinion. It's kind of like this weird middle ground where I think the next books in the series will decide whether I really like it or not. So I probably will read at least the next book, but who knows? I'm not like itching to read more of it either. This book, I only read The Field of Life and Death, and what a powerful book. This is about the life of like rural Chinese people during Japanese invasion in the 1930s, and a feminist novel at that, and what a powerful, gut-wrenching one. It's this like fractured little novella, I think, from multiple different points of views, constantly back and forth of just how horrid life was, and really good. I might read Tales of the Hulan River next, because I do have this exact copy. Schoolgirl and Sphinx by Anne Garetta. Schoolgirl by Osamu Dazai. I liked both of them a lot, and they're complete opposite styles. I do want to read more of both of them, and I already posted like a kind of review of them on my website blog thing, so go check that out. Schoolgirl made me feel like I could write. Made me want to write. Sphinx made me feel like I'll never have the stuff to write. Because the prose was this baroque flower garden of opulence that never ceased to stop, and it was, or never ceased its momentum, its grandeur, and it was phenomenal to read. And then Schoolgirl had this more basic prose, but hold on, I'm gonna cough. Much more, I mean, it fit the character quite a bit, this like, you know, schoolgirl and her thoughts, and I really liked it as well. And I plan on reading more Dazai. I think the No One Knows short stories is what I want to read next from him. Eichmann's Heirs. Did I put this picture backwards? Oops. I didn't finish this anthology, and to be completely honest, I know this might be a little bit of a hot take, a little controversial. I don't really worry about counting the books that I've read. And so anthologies, I don't worry about finishing every single story in them. If I read like half, I'll consider it a finished book for moments like these, but it doesn't bother me. To be honest, I've read some of the short stories, so whatever. Same with like omnibuses. I don't know, like, if it's 3 books in one and I read the first book, do I count it in things like these, like that omnibus? Don't really care. But yeah, I've read some of the short stories in these. They were okay. They weren't great. I think I read them near Halloween. I read my first Michael Sisko story from here. And they were okay. That's all I really have to say. Nothing like, none of them was incredible to me. I think there was one by, is it Nina Allen, that everyone says the whole story, like, the whole anthology was worth it just for that story. And although the story was good, I don't think it was that good. It was good, but not that good. Next, A.S. Byatt's the Matisse stories. I think that's how you say his name. Once again, not French. I don't know if Matisse is either. I'm just really, really bad with names. And reading. And writing. Language in general. I'll learn how to pronounce things eventually. It also doesn't help that I don't talk with people much, so I don't work on my pronunciation. Everything's in my head. Anyway, this is 3 like short story novellas. I bounced off of Aspire quite a bit. I tried to read her Possession, and I talked about this already. I ended up giving that novel away, and then I tried to read her In the Virgin Garden is what it's called, I believe, because I wanted to read the next novel, Still Life, but I had to read In the Virgin Garden first, and for whatever reason, that one just wasn't grabbing me, couldn't get into it. But this one was really good. I've already talked about it on stream. It's an examination of like women's place in society and in art, while also talking about art. And it's really good. Her writing is powerful. I think I liked the middle story the least. The first and third were the best to me. Okay, Case Files of Jeweler Richard. Definitely a novel series I'm gonna read more this year. I don't know if I'll finish it all. I like it. Can't read too much of it at once. It's kind of like a palate cleanser for me. It's a very sweet, easy read. I really like the author's worldliness, her ability to write heavy subjects in a caring, digestible, empathetic manner. And it's something I really appreciate because, yeah, like I said, it's just this light read, but still dealing with heavy subject matter in an appropriate and mature way without getting too dense. I like the slow burn romance. It's a little too slow, kinda, a little bit. I like all the different sexualities as well, like, even without, that's the thing, they don't like openly say that much, you know, this character's gay or anything like that. Like, I think there were a few in the series so far, but, you know, the exploration of the different feelings and sexuality, like, that it is a spectrum, and like there's asexual characters and stuff like that, without saying that, just, you know, their aversion to, well, I think she's actually aro-ace, specifically aromantic and asexual, and there's like, yeah, the different different amounts of interest in sex and romance, and main character questioning his sexuality and his like the differing between the way you look at a painting that you love that's pretty and the way that you look at a person that you love and that's pretty, the way the differences between familial and romantic love, or like friendly love and romantic love, things like that. It's all nice. I like Seigi and Richard's interactions a lot. In the last novel, they didn't interact too much, but I'll probably try to read, like, I don't know, like I said, it's kind of like a palate cleanser. Really enjoyable, like little just sit back and relax read. I can usually finish one of these in, like, I'm a slow reader and I can finish one of these in a day or two. So they're a nice little treat, little delicacy. Something that the King of Sweets would definitely like. Okay, I am really eating up time. I'll talk about these next few nonfiction all at once. The 3 steps in the ladder of writing, about writing, and notes on camp. All really good. I didn't finish all of about writing. I read 3/4 of it though, I think 2/3 of it, quite a bit of it. Samuel Delaney's incredibly read, which is just insane and crazy. in one of the interviews, he was talking about reading War and Peace at like 13 and Faulkner at like 16 or 17, and I was just like, oh my goodness, crazy. Three Steps in the Ladder of Writing is a lot more theory than it is, like, say, Ursula Guin's Steering the Craft, which is a lot more about craft. But the theory is nice, and I read it, and she also shares a admiration to Ingeborg Bachmann, who I really like as well, which is the last book in this little list. Notes on Camp is 2 essays in it, and I liked both of them. Really quick reads. Feel like I should stop using Camp the way I use it. I plan on reading more of About Writing because I haven't finished it yet, but that's the thing I like about nonfiction, is it's really easy to put down and pick back up. And once again, this is where, like, I don't care if I finish a book, but I'm putting it on here because I read more than half, so I'm not trying to get like a certain amount, I want to read more, but it's not based on the amount, it's just based on the fact that I want to be reading more. The Melancholy of Resistance by Laszlo Krasznahorkai. I read this with a Reddit read-along, and honestly, I didn't like the book. I don't know if it was because I was doing a read-along that it felt like homework, or maybe it was because I was doing a read-along and it didn't feel like homework, but I was rushing to meet the dates because it was slipping my mind. I think I posted something in every comment section on that read-along, or at least I tried to. That was like a part of the goal for me in doing that read-along. It was okay, I just wasn't a big fan of it, but I do plan on reading his Seobo There Below this year, hopefully, because I'm still interested in him as a writer. This just wasn't a book I was super interested in the first place, read it, and then still wasn't really that interested in it. But I did see someone had a similar opinion, I forget their name, and then they said the second time they read it, they liked it a lot more. So maybe that's the case, but I'm not really interested in doing a reread of it. And finally, the last book I read last year, The Book of Franza, Requiem for Fanny Goldman by Ingeborg Bachmann, who wrote Melina, which is one of my favorite novels that I read last year. It's another example of me loving a novel written by a certain author and reading more and not liking it as much. But still, just a wonderful read. I feel like every time I read from her, I'm writing something down and just, you know, dropping my jaw in some way. But this is 2 short novellas that are much less experimental than Melina, but still very entertaining nonetheless. And next, upcoming releases. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Okay, so Antonio Maresco's The Beginnings, I think I said that right. This book is a book I've been looking forward to for a while. Max Lawton talks about it a lot, a translator. He also translated Schadenfreude, which was quite the hit this year. I actually have Schadenfreude, I got it for the holidays, but I have not even tried to read it yet. Max Lawton seems to be some sort of powerhouse translator, having translated from Russian, Italian, German, and then now working on Spanish, I believe, which is bizarre. I can't even learn Japanese. I don't remember what The Beginnings is about much, but it comes out in March, and I do plan on reading it, because I remember thinking it seemed very interesting to me and right up my alley. Ice by, I don't know how to say that name, it's Polish. This was kind of like a dark horse for me, like I had no idea it was even coming out, but it's coming out relatively soon. And it's like 1,200 pages of weird philosophy, science fiction. Seems like a book I would have just to chew on. And I might get it. It looks interesting. definitely. But there's another book that's Polish, I believe, called Insatiability, that's also weird philosophical sci-fi that I will probably get first, honestly, but this is a release I'm looking to see at least people talk about. Joe Walton and Ada Palmer's Trace Elements, I really want to read. I listened to their podcast and I thought they were entertaining. I bounced off Ada Palmer's fiction a little bit like a year or two ago, but I'll probably try that again. But yeah, this is coming out and it looks interesting to me. This one by Kohei Kadono. This is by the author of Boogie Pop. I love Boogie Pop. It's like one of my favorite light novels. Probably my favorite light novel. Although I have not been reading the online translations and I really, really need to. This is called Purple Smoke Distortion, I think. It's his like fan fiction of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I have not read that yet, or watched or read that yet. So I feel like I need to do that before I read this. I think that's an absolute necessity, but it's such a commitment. We'll see if I ever do. But I do want to read more of this author, so that might be the push I need to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Who knows? Next, The Truth of Carcosa. I have never heard of this author. Some people like them. I haven't heard of them. This is a King in Yellow rendition. I haven't read The King of Yellow either. Don't know if I need to. Sorry, that was me cracking my knuckles. But Lost Manuscript, right up my alley, kind of. I don't know. I feel like I'm actually coming off that a little bit. But if it's weird, I'll probably like it. I don't remember the synopsis at all. I'm sorry. What We Are Seeking. I also think The Truth of Carcosa comes out, I think in a few days maybe. I think it comes out in January sometime. What We Are Seeking by Cameron Reed. Don't remember what this is about. I plan on reading her Fortunate Fall this year. It's like, I haven't bought it yet, but I really want to read that. She wrote that back in the 90s, I think, late 90s, and this is her next book coming out this year. Like the next book she's wrote since Fortunate Fall, so I'm very interested in like probably reading them back to back. Honestly, I think that would be really fun to see how things have changed in that amount of time and what I think is probably like 30 years. Next, The Tunnel and The Tunnel Reader. I wasn't going to put any reprints on here because like, I don't know, there's a lot of reprints happening all the time and they're hard to keep track of. The Tunnel by William Gass, and also The Tunnel Reader. The Tunnel Reader is a new book full of essays and guides to the tunnel by William Gass, and that looks very interesting to me. The Ruse by China Melville. Not Melville. Myville? I don't know. Sorry. Myville? I don't know. So this is one of the forerunners of like the new weird subgenre, I think. I'm very interested in his what is it? The Boss Log series, the Perdido Street Station, the Iron Council, the Scar. I think I said those out of order. I was gonna read those this year. That was gonna be a goal to read one of those this year. But I saw this was coming out, and he said this is like a 20-year in the work magnum opus kind of thing. I think like over 1,000 pages. I might be making that up though. So I was like, sure, yeah, I'll look at that. I'll read that first. And then maybe I'll check out the Boss Log series. I remember the cover for the Perdido Street Station looks so pretty, the one with the butterfly. And I really do want to read that. That series. So I'm realizing my stream is a little, I thought I was done with it, but I was not. Vastlands, The Crossing I completely did not put the translator doing this or the author. They're translating a novel from, I don't remember which country. Argentinian, maybe? I don't know. But the other English translation from like the 50s is called Devil to Pay in the Backlands, I think, where it was criticized for not, I think the translator even said they couldn't catch the nuances of the language used. And this woman who's translating this, I completely forgot to write down her name. I thought I did. I thought I put the name of the original novel and the translator's name on this. For that, I am sorry. She, I think, had been working 10 years on this translation, and it's coming out sometime this year, and I've seen like no one talk about it. It actually feels like surreal to me. Like, I'm like, is this really happening? Is this actually a thing that is happening, or am I like misreading things? Which honestly, I still think could be the case. But it seems like no one is talking about it, and I guess maybe she just doesn't have the same like hype following as Max Lawton's translations, but especially with like The Beginnings by Antonio Maresco, I feel like this should be getting hyped just as much as the Crazy book, or at least from what I've heard. So I'm very much looking forward to it coming out, but I've seen like nothing on it, even from the translator herself. I forget who will be publishing it though, as well. Apparently I forget everything. And finally, A Table for Fortune by William T. Vollmann. This is a box set coming out. Really want to order it. Don't have the money for it, but I want to. It's like 3,500, 3,200, 3,400, I don't know. Pages altogether about US history from like the 80s until 2019, I think. And William T. Vollmann is such an interesting author to me, and I have not read them at all. I feel like I want to read You Bright and Risen Angels first, but that needs a reprint because it's like $30, I think, for a used copy. Which isn't the worst. It isn't as bad as $150, obviously. They're such an interesting author. Just look him up. Just look him up. There's so much to say. But I will probably be getting his nonfiction Notes on Violence or something like that, going up and down, Notes on Violence, the abridged version, which looks very interesting to me. So I'll probably try to read bits of that, and I'll be reading nonfiction before the fiction from this author, but they really seem like such an interesting person. And the last slide, what's to come? My reads, anime, stuff like that. So I'm not big on anime anymore, not out of like, oh, I hate anime and everything. It's just a very quick thing on the chopping block for me. I don't keep up with like seasonals. Oh, I completely forgot to go over the manga I read. That's okay. I guess I can just, I kind of already posted a review though. I can talk about it another time. I haven't said this yet, but the reason I'm streaming now is because I have a trip planned soon, and I thought I was going to be able to stream then, well, in between now and then, but now that I'm looking at my schedule, I'm probably not going to be able to, especially because tonight or tomorrow I need to finish a cover letter for a job, because I'm interviewing for another job, and then I'll be working 2 jobs, so I'll have less time. But they're both like part-time, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, what I'm reading right now, because I want to read more nonfiction, so I'm reading some nonfiction right now. I'm halfway through the Cyborg Manifesto by Donna Haraway, I think. Oh, the book's on the other side of the room. Can't read it. I don't want to get up. I'll probably read that whole collection, Manifestly Haraway, I think is what it's called. It's honestly a little heady for me, a little up there. My brain is smooth and small. I think so. I feel like I need a better understanding of feminist, socialist, and Marxist history. Like, I know the differences between Marxism and socialism and Leninists and things like that, but I feel like I need to know their history a little better, and also just be better at linguistics and have a bigger vocabulary and a more wrinkly and large brain. Yeah, I feel a little dumb reading it, but it's okay. I might take a reread. I'll get through it because one of my goals this year, as it says at the bottom, is to read more nonfiction, and I think that's just a part of it as well. I need to get into the habit of reading nonfiction. And something I found that I really liked about reading nonfiction is, like I said earlier, of how easy it is to pick up and put down and read like little parts of it, not linearly. Like, I can read a section that looks interesting and that's whatever. I know I should read like cover to cover, but if a certain part looks interesting, I can just read that and that's that. I'm not super looking forward to anime this year. I haven't just been keeping track, but here's some coming up soon that I will be reading or watching. I already said I was interested in the Mononoke movie coming out, but I'm watching Cat's Eye right now. It took a break and now it's back on, and I love it because I love Cat's Eye. It's one of my favorite. Such a goofy Scooby-Doo-esque show. I love it. I'll probably watch Frieren. Frieren's not my favorite, but it's okay. Nice little fantasy show. I will be watching Fate Strange Fake actually right after this. I might watch the last, I think the new episode just came out today or tomorrow. I'll probably watch that movie again, the like special episode and the next episode, and then catch up right into the streaming schedule. Golden Kamui I really like, and its final season is coming, and I'm excited for that. Ikoku Nikki, I think, is what this writer anime is, and that's just up my alley. Looks good. I remember trying to read the manga online, but I like physical books, and it just wasn't grabbing me a whole lot, and that wasn't on the manga, I don't think. So I will be watching that. And then Prism Rondo should be on, I think it's on Netflix. It's like a anime about artists and love, and that's once again up my alley. I love art, so I'll be watching that. Now, some of my goals, like I just said, I will be wanting to read more nonfiction. Do I have my goals written? I'm not a big New Year's resolution person, but definitely some things I want to do. Like, I am going on a trip, and I'm excited about that because I'm kind of a recluse and a shut-in, so I need to get out of the house more. And that's kind of the do more. I want to do more living. Want to try to speak to more people. I want to reach out to more people and, like, it sounds sad, but like make some friends online at least, because I don't talk to people often. Find it to be kind of like a hassle. A little bit of a chore, not very eloquent or articulate, so, and I'm shy. But I want to do more. I want to talk to more people. Like I said, I want to read more nonfiction. Put JP, I want to be able to read manga, or like shonen or shoujo manga with the furigana on top of the kanji. I want to be able to read that by the end of the year. I've got a textbook. I'm not good with textbooks, but I'm gonna try. Because I'm not good with online either, so it's one of those. But I'm gonna dedicate a lot of time to it, and yeah, try to get much better at Japanese this year. And then, oh, I forgot to do stories and reviews. Oops. I'll do that in a second. I have some multimedia projects in the works. And I plan on doing more of those. I really need to do better at writing and taking writing more seriously, just for my own sake. But the stories and reviews, I don't think I'm going to do one every month. But I do have a few reviews and stories planned. Well, kind of. I have story ideas planned. I have one story in the works. Yeah, one story in the works, but I'm having a hard time writing it. One big project I'm working on, kind of. It's strong. I feel good when I read what I've written, but it's also daunting. And I'm a cowardly little flea, so. And I have the story in the works and several other planned. And some weird reviews. I just had this idea to do like this unique review, and I'm probably gonna keep following that trail and see where it goes. But yeah, that's kind of what I plan on doing. I have all my streams. I didn't talk about streams either. God, so bad. Sorry. I have my streams for the next like 2 months planned, and then I won't be streaming again until close to January 20th, I think. But I have streams planned nonetheless. And I think that's it. So I'm gonna peace out, and thank you for watching. I'm glad I could talk about books, and I plan on reading a lot more this year. And just be reading a lot more. Oh, I also plan on watching more movies and just consuming more content in general, and also putting out more content in general. Like a funnel. No, I'm not gonna overwork myself. I'll be careful. Yeah, thank you for watching, and comment some of your goals if you have any, reading or other, and maybe I'll respond. Where's my mouse? And yes, thank you for watching.